How's it going, everyone? Jiivita here with a new testing update. This is testing 204 and we have all sorts of really awesome goodies. We have new signs, the atlas has been updated, the knowledge screen is like totally, well, not been completely reworked, but some really amazing quality of life features have been added to it. But since we're right here in front of the signs, let's go ahead and jump into those. For starters, here we just have our basic stone signs, but as you can see, for the dark signs we actually get white text. This pops up automatically, so if it's a dark sign we get white text. If it's a light colored sign, then we automatically get black text. And actually, if you are a Gleam Club member, you can color the text. I really don't know how that works yet. On the testing servers, I don't have access to my Gleam Club for whatever reason that is, and I don't really feel like buying it again just for the testing servers, so I'll have to wait to test that out. But we also have wood signs over here. Has this nice simple border here with this kind of etching into it, and the wood sign kind of has this little bit of a dirty font or texture to it, kind of like you took a brush and just did one coat of ink or something like that. You do just a single module, you get these really cool leaf things. It'd be kind of awesome if this was on the bigger signs. Maybe if I made this modular sign a little bit bigger, it would pop up. But yeah, pretty nice. We got iron signs over here. Iron and gleam signs are illuminous, or these glyphs right here kind of light up. The text itself doesn't glow, and they don't act as light sources. They simply glow in the dark. So here's the copper sign over here. Unfortunately, there's no gold or silver sign yet. Just simply, if you have iron available, it'll use the iron. If you have copper available, it uses the copper. And if you have both, it uses whichever one comes first in your inventory. Over here we have some gleam signs, and these are pretty amazing. As you can see through these things, and if you have a dark enough color of gleam, it will flip over and do the light lettering. So this is essentially what the game is calling black gleam, which I guess if you get it just the right angle, it kind of looks black. It almost looks like a really dark purple to me. But yeah, and the interesting thing is that these signs are one way. So from the other side, it just looks clear. And this actually brought to mind of finally we have like kind of like some stained glass options, and not to mention for like windows, like a really skinny window basically. So if your build is kind of set on half blocks, you no longer have to have like glass hanging over the edges or have really thick windows. You can kind of use these signs as a window itself. Keep in mind that these blocks or these signs do count towards the mesh limit because they are entities. That's how they're able to be this kind of translucent or semi-transparent look to them. So if you're building a really tall building, you're wanting to put a lot of entities into it, or basically anything that's not a basic block, you might run into the cap, which I believe is 512 last I looked. So you do have to be a little bit careful with spamming these things all over the place, in addition to everything else like storage, machines, etc. So one thing to keep in mind. And over here, I was just a little bit curious what the back of the wooden sign looked like, if it had like a nice wood texture back here. Just the wood frame has kind of the wood texture, but this sign in particular really highlights that you got the nice wood texture in this kind of painted etching right here. And of course we have small signs and all the different variations. So we got our wood, copper, iron, and gleam. And of course the color of the gleam depends on the color of the gleam that you use. All these recipes are fairly similar to each other, just that they use a different material. So gleam of course uses gleam, iron and copper uses iron and copper, wood but everything else is the same, just ink, nails, and then whatever material it's made out of. The one exception is that metal and gleam signs both need 500 and 1000 power respectively. So the fancier materials need a little bit more power, whereas the wood and stone require no power whatsoever. So quite nice. But moving along, let's take a look at the amazing changes to the Atlas. There's actually quite a bit on the patch notes of how exactly these now update, but suffice to say, in a 110 block radius of you, the Atlas updates every 5 seconds. So essentially in real time. Areas that are further away from you are like 5 minutes, and then if it's not like on your action bar, then it updates a lot slower. But basically, if you're using an atlas, at least the area immediately around you will be up to date. The surrounding areas will be at most, sounds like about 5 minutes old, and certainly if I was to walk over there, it would, you know, update within 5 seconds of entering the area. But what's pretty amazing is you can come over here, and if you're doing something like a surface resource, or if you're just particularly thorough with mining, you can actually destroy the heat map pretty much in real time. So let's break this desert sword, and there we go. That just got a little bit dimmer. Looks like, yeah, we got another one close by, and I didn't, there we go, just got a little bit dimmer. And if we keep getting rid of all the desert sword in this area, it'll eventually go dark. See here, I just saw that go a little bit dimmer. Let's see here, there's still some in this general vicinity. Here we go. Okay, so as you can see, that is pretty amazing. We've just about cleared, well, basically half of this island off of resources. So that is pretty impressive, at least for fiber sleeves, that is. So that is going to make a world of a difference of looking for things, particularly things that are a little bit on the rare side, like shimmering orbs. Like you go into an area and you think you found all of them, but maybe there's one hiding, so now you'll be able to clearly tell where you've already been, or at least where the resources are not as you go along, and you don't have to worry quite so much about walking around in circles if you're blindly following the atlas. So pretty darn amazing, I have to say. And along with the real-time updating for the atlases, now when you mouse over an atlas, you can see the world name as well as any resource inside of it. So now you can easily mouse over and see where the particular planet is that you're actually looking for without having to right-click on every single one just to pop up the world name. So that is very, very nice right there. Another amazing thing is that all of the alloy tools and even some of the gem tools have been rebalanced. Basically, all of the alloy tools have slightly more damage, and with the exception of titanium, have quite a bit more durability. So silver got an extra 50 damage for 650 damage altogether, as well as an extra 400 durability for a total of 1200 durability. So that is pretty amazing. That's one of the main things that was holding back the silver and gold tools, was that they just didn't have the durability to make it worthwhile. Like the silver tools, they're really nice because they're fast, but just because they're fast doesn't make up for the really low durability that they had. If we come over here and look at the gold tools, you can see they now have 700 damage, so they got an extra 100 damage and an extra 500 durability for a total of 1100 durability. So not quite as durable as the silver tools, but they got extra damage, and that 50% critical strike chance will also help stretch out that durability, because yeah, if you're critting more often, you're doing more damage, and periodically you'll be able to one-shot or at least break blocks with one or more less hits. So pretty awesome right there. The titanium tools, it still got a little bit of extra damage. So previously they did 900 damage, so they got an extra 100 damage, but they do still have the same 1500 durability, which honestly, that's a pretty decent durability right there. Across the board, they do use a tiny bit more energy. Let's see, it looks like, so yeah, the silver uses 1 extra energy, gold is an extra 2 energy, and then titanium is also 2 extra energy. I wonder if the energy use is calculated automatically off of the damage, but all in all, that's really not going to make a huge difference whatsoever. So as far as the gym equipment, basically all of the non-heavy hitting equipment got a pretty nice buff to both damage and durability. So if you're unfamiliar, Amethyst and Topaz, they had really high action speed, which is pretty nice. However, they still had the same durability and they did less damage, basically to make up for how fast they could swing, but that also meant that they wore out a lot faster. So now the faster hitting equipment has extra durability and buffed damage, so they do more damage, they have more durability along with their increased action speed. This should make them much more viable, since it just didn't make sense of, you know, I look at my tools of like how many blocks or resources am I going to get per hammer, not how fast can I gather those resources with that hammer, because the time investment into the tool itself to me is worth more than how quickly I can gather resources once it's made. So as I mentioned, the knowledge tree has gotten a huge quality of life update. Now when you look at tools, you can actually see their stats along with the recipe. I mean, you could come along and right click on the item itself to see the stats, but however, now you can just click once and you can see everything. Also, now all of these things are now essentially like hyperlinks, and you can click on it and it will tell you not only how to craft that, but all of the things that it can be used to craft. So pretty darn amazing. So look at all the cool things that you can craft with silver alloy. Let's say we want to look at how to craft an ornate gleam trapdoor. Maybe we want to know some information about gleam. And yeah, so right here it just says world level 1 through 8, drop chance always, and so pretty crazy. And as you can see, there's even information for animal drops, so now you can see that bones come from, well, pretty much everything, what world levels they come from, and what they're even used for. So that is pretty crazy. Let's take a look. How about Hopper Thermal Core trophies? So yeah, so you have to be on a level 5 or higher world. Drop chance, they're very rare, and it doesn't say like... Okay, yeah, here we go. Mighty and above. So if you want to farm for these things, you need to go to a level 5 or higher planet and basically only pay attention to the mighty and elite hoppers. So that is pretty awesome. Let's take a look at Roadrunner. So, oh, nice. So Roadrunners, they only have to be stout and above. So that's pretty cool. Well, I guess I don't think I've ever seen an elite Roadrunners. So world level 4 through 8. And while you're at it, you can come down here. It's like, oh, what would I ever want to use this thing for to begin with? So we got defect removal solvent, quirk removal solvent, and boon transmutation solvent. So pretty awesome. And another amazing addition to the knowledge tree is that now as you level up, the knowledge tree unlocks in addition to the current way unlocks. If you're unfamiliar, the knowledge tree, it only shows you recipes that you actually have the knowledge to craft, basically. So if you don't have the skills to, say, craft a gold hammer, you won't be able to see it in the knowledge tree. However, I have absolutely no crafting skills at the moment, and I have a fully filled out knowledge tree because I am level 50. So as you level up, the knowledge tree gradually unlocks itself, even if you don't have the skill points invested into crafting. So that is pretty amazing. It should help a lot of players out with, well, I'm leveling up and all I can craft are these really basic tools, and it just, you know, now they can go to the knowledge tree and go, oh, I need, you know, if I want to make this really cool hammer, oh, I need this tool crafting level 2 skill, and so it becomes much more intuitive for new players to figure out how to progress through the crafting without just blindly taking skills and hoping for the best, basically. So very, very nice. Another cool thing is now when you're using the support section of the main menu, there is an option to submit a game log. So if you're trying to report a particular bug, you can click on this. It submits a game log, and then you can even put in some kind of description of what problem you're having, and that way you can report a bug along with all the relative information that might be in your game log, and yeah, that's just a very nice kind of all-in-one type system, so you don't have to like copy the log and then go make a forum post, and now you can just do it all within the game. And yeah, that is a pretty awesome change right there. So a really nice quality of life addition for crafters is now when you queue up a bunch of stuff, you can actually rearrange the queue without having to like cancel it all out and then re-queue it up. So that is pretty amazing. So let's queue up a couple of these copper. How about some iron? And maybe some more copper. Now we can come over here and click on this, and now there is an option to send to the top. It won't interfere with the item that's already crafting, but it will put it next in line. So if we wanted to say maybe have all the copper stuff craft first, just send it all to the top like so, and very nice. Maybe we want the iron at the top, so pretty invaluable right there. I can't tell you how many times I've had to cancel out, like I don't know how many crafts because, oh, I need one particular item and it's high priority, and yet I've already filled up all of my machines. So that is very, very, very nice. And as always, there's been quite a few bug fixes too that really stand out to me. Is that now when you are revived, it no longer breaks your grapple, so you no longer have to like restart the game or return to Sanctum to get your grapple working again. And then the other one is that now when healing bombs are forged, the knockback from them is removed completely. So no longer can healing bombs knock you about, and yeah, the people were actually able to accidentally grief or deliberately grief players by knocking them off of ledges of cliffs and so on and so forth. So anyway, I think that wraps everything up in testing 204. Naturally, there's plenty of things that probably either got overlooked or didn't have time to be mentioned, so check the description down below for a link to the patch notes directly. Anyway, this was Jiivita. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more like this, and if there's anything you didn't like, please let me know down below. Also, if you like my channel, want to get cool perks, check out my Patreon page. Until next time, peace.